Hi, good morning. This is video log entry 164, and it's about 8 a.m. CST. The reason why my face looks yellow is because I have my light on from this morning because I got up pretty early again today. Because my brain's just like, it doesn't like to rest a lot, as you can see, because my eyelids are typically pretty baggy, which is fine, you know. I'm fine with letting my brain run as long as it's fed the necessary nutrients. I've been trying to make my nutrients quantitatively better, but it's sometimes it's I don't know why I said it like that. Did I say quantitatively? Sorry, no, qualitatively. Jesus Christ. Yeah, so I have a few addictions here and there that have been fucking up my head, and my synapses haven't been firing as fast as usual, but, you know, I'm slowly tapering off those bad habits of mine, and I'm going back to a baseline. Yeah, I still get, my brain is still just very scattered, because I think that's just something that my brain does. I can't get away from that no matter how healthy I am or how much I try to teach myself to focus, which, partially I think is wrong. I don't meditate as much as I want to, so I actually didn't meditate this morning. I used to meditate last year, at the beginning of the year, and then I quit. It was like one of those New Year's resolutions, like, yeah, I'm going to meditate, I'm going to improve my focus, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and mostly everything kind of, what do I say, disappeared, I guess, or they kind of, I don't know, there's another word. Yeah, so I need to get better at talking too, because Jesus Christ. Yeah, so I don't know. I've been just relaxing for the most part. I have my coffee here as usual. I've been reading about the Intel's history basically, and when it started with the 8008, and then it went from the 8008 to the 8086. I mean, there were a bunch of other ones, but between that, and the reason why they're not really mentioned is because the 8086 was the first processor to have, I think, like 16-bit. It went from, the 8008 was 6-bit, and then it went to a 16-bit eventually. I don't know, like, what the time period between those two were. I forgot. Actually, I don't think I even looked at that. But yeah, I was kind of reading the Wikipedia page. Let's see if I wonder if I just go x86, and if the Wikipedia page should probably have all the processors that's why it's x86. The X is a placeholder, which I didn't realize. Whoops, that's the 86 set, so that's they call it the, oh, that's another reason why, because they talk about the 86, because they call it the instructions, it was a different instruction set architecture, which didn't become CISC until until 1999. I think AMD was licensed to use their architecture, I guess. So I don't know. They originally had a patent, but they gave them. I'm not sure how all that works legally. So I think that they had a patent with it, and then they eventually they still had a patent for it. I guess that's how it works, is that they gave them licenses to actually work with that intellectual property to make it better. So they weren't necessarily. They were kind of working together, it seemed. AMD and Intel, because AMD and Intel are the only ones that seem to be selling processors nowadays too. Which is fair, because they have that instruction set patented. It's an intellectual property that can't be copied unless Intel gives them a license for it. So that's a smart way to have a monopoly, is by coming up with an amazing idea and then patenting it, and then just having a monopoly in that general area, because there's no other better idea than that idea. As of now, at least. Yeah, I don't know. It seems interesting. So I was reading about that, and I was looking at the history between the 8008, and honestly, I don't think there was really much history between the 8008 and 8086. Let me see. I'm gonna see how time period between and 8086. I just wanted to see what the computer does, if it's fast enough to. Oh yeah, that was fast. Of course. 6 years. It was 6 years between the 8008 and the 8086. The 8008 was introduced in 1972, and 86 was, of course, 1978. 6 years, and then I guess it took since that's another 21 years before they came up with x86 64 architecture, from going from 16-bit to 64-bit. Due to hardware limitations, of course, and I wouldn't know. They probably had to. How many transistors 86? I think there's 29,000 transistors in the 8086. So I'm not sure if you guys have ever heard of Moore's Law, but basically, I think the number. How do they explain it? It's like each year there's like it's just an exponential growth of the amount of transistors in a given fixed area. That is basically what Moore's law is. So some kind of exponential growth. Exponential growth is just being modified by like a factor of 2 or whatever the base is. You know, of course, if you've done math and 2 to the power x, right? It's 2 times 2, whatever. Anyways, that's what exponential growth is. Just people don't. I think people use the word exponential even though they don't really know what exponential is, unless I mean. Of course, like you don't expect much in the United States because they don't really teach you like intuitively what it is, or they don't really teach you intuitively what logarithms are or anything like that, or any function actually. They just tell you the properties of those functions and whatnot, and how to modify them to get a supposed new quote unquote new truth out of it. But I guess that's it doesn't matter. Like I try not to complain about the education system in the United States too much because I did my own research, so I have a good idea of what that is and whatnot. So I'm probably going to read about the instruction set architecture some more, and I just thought it was cool too because I actually never looked at that. I've seen videos of a guy looking at a schematic of the 8086, or was it the 80? They probably did the 8008 just to be. I'm blanking out again. What's the word? Retro. Yeah, to be retro. And that would be actually kind of cool to have a project on using a 8008, maybe an 8086. I think an 8008 would be too small for most games, and maybe that would be a fun challenge to have, but I'd rather do an 8086 and play around with that once I have more room. Maybe I'll make my own little console. So I was thinking, when did the Game Boy come out? They must have been using something past the 8086 for the processor within the original Game Boy. So did the Game Boy have? Oh, they didn't. Wait. The Sharp SM83, which is a hybrid of the... Oh, it's a hybrid of the 8080. So they were using an 8080 in the... What is a Zilog Z80 processor? I don't know what that is. Custom system on chip, of course, also known for the DMG, as a DMG CPU, whatever that means. It runs at 4.19 megahertz. Which is faster than the average 1 megahertz CPU. Oh. What is that? 4 million times per second? Is that what? 4.19, yeah. Or 4,190,000 times per second. That's interesting. That's actually pretty damn fast. I think I did the math right, yeah. That's a fast clock. That's good to know. I'm probably not going to remember the Sharp SM83 in my head, but it's a hybrid between some I don't know what the Zilog Z80 is, but I know what the Intel 8080 is. So that's cool. So I guess I could get away with the 8086 maybe if I did something that's like handheld. That's I don't know. It would be fun to do like some kind of retro project, not like the Game Boy, but it kind of inspired by it. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that anytime soon, but I like games and I like hardware, so it's nice to match games with hardware. So I don't know. I was also thinking that since I want to get into computer architecture some more, or I tend to be interested in that kind of stuff in comparison to most of the other things that I study, I would probably get a computer engineering degree or a master's in computer engineering. I'd probably finish up my degree in math, of course, because it would be smarter to do that, and that I could transfer from a bachelor's, because I only have like 1 or 2 semesters left. I think 2 semesters, so I have a whole school year left before I can actually work on a master's, and I'd probably get a master's in either. If I really had to think, I wouldn't do electrical engineering. I prefer computer engineering, which is also a lot of electrical engineering, but I don't want to get too deep into the electrical engineering stuff because I prefer not to be building circuit boards on KiCad. Is that what they call it? KiCad is KICAD. CAD is a computer-aided design. I think CAD is usually, people use CAD software, computer-aided design, for making 3D stuff. And I don't know what the KI stands for, but it is obviously a computer-aided design software for building printed circuit boards, PCBs, and whatnot. So I think people enjoy that. I'm not a big fan of the whole PCB realm, but I'm more into software, but I also like at least understanding hardware minimally, or enough to the point where I'm not like doing all of the soldering or whatever they do with the wire design for CAD software and whatnot. Yeah, I don't know. It seems fun. But yeah, today I guess I said I was going to work on collision management, and I'm going to the grocery store, and my brain's kind of blinking out for whatever reason. It doesn't feel like talking again. But yeah, so I'm going to the grocery store, and then I'll do my collision management stuff, and I'm probably going to do more research on microprocessors because, yeah, computers are cool, I guess. And yeah. I think 1972 is a number I should remember for the 8008. And 8086 is 1978. So I think that's good information to hold in your head if you want to impress a random computer engineering grad. That wouldn't even be impressive. Maybe it would be, since I wouldn't be considered to be a computer engineer. It's like, oh, a math guy knows this. Oh wow, what's that? I don't know. I don't know why I'm trying to impress anybody or thinking about trying to impress anybody. I don't know. So, yeah. The synapses are still firing, sort of. I don't know, I just woke up, so my brain is still waking up, I guess, even though I have my coffee. And I also had coffee early as well, so it was like an hour ago. And I crashed pretty quickly, so my brain's crashing again from the coffee I had before. Even though I have more. This is my third cup. So, yeah. Yep. I'm just waiting to see if there's anything else I want to talk about. Other than all the books I want to get, which is going to be on compilers. I'm probably going to get the classic one. They call it the Dragon book for compilers. And then I want to probably... maybe not a technical book on computer architecture. Maybe something a little bit more light, like the history of computers or something like that, before I get into some crazy computer architecture design, because that can be... obviously it's complicated. I mean, you get a bunch of freaking nerds working on that. But yeah, so yeah, and and I was looking at, like, I don't know, I just like my head's always going everywhere. And I was also looking at like quantitative stuff because I'm a number guy or whatever. Although I consider myself to be, I'm not sure if mathematically gifted or talented would be the right way to say it. Good enough. I don't know. I mean, like, I think if I got into competitive math stuff, I wouldn't be horrible, but I definitely wouldn't get a gold medal from, like, if I don't know, if I were, like 12 years old and I decided to, if I tried like extremely hard and I got into a IMO competition, International Mathematical Olympiad competition, I think I do pretty well. I have the innate capacity to be probably, I don't know, maybe I'm overestimating my capabilities, but I never struggled with math. So if I actually like put effort in it, actually learning it deeply enough to the point where it seems second nature, I wouldn't be that bad. Like I enjoyed calculus, and it's like a lot of people enjoy calculus, but I didn't have trouble with calculus. And when I was in school, I slept through all my classes, and I still got A's in those courses. So I'm not horrible. In Algebra 2, I think I probably got like a B or an A. It was like a B plus or an or something, and I slept through all my algebra classes, and so I had some kind of innate understanding of math without necessarily having to try hard. So I do have like some kind of talent, but I get it from my dad because my dad's he does sciencey stuff, and he messes with Saturday, so he's a very technically minded human being, and he got like a top 99th percentile in the GREs, so he was obviously gifted in mathematics because again he didn't try hard, and if he actually put some effort into actually being good, I mean he is good, but I mean like good as in like top 0.0001%. You'd have to put some effort to be in the top 0.0001%, like 1 in a million or 1 in 1,000. Like 1% would be 1 in 1,000, 1 million. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, I didn't even do the math right. It was like 0.0. How many zeros is that? I don't know. 0.1%. 0.0001. Yeah, 0.0001% is 1 million, right? Yeah. I didn't think about that one for a second. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have anything. I'm just thinking about what I was thinking. I don't know. My brain's doing metacognition for whatever reason. I tend to metacognize a lot. I'm always analyzing my own thoughts. Thinking about my thoughts too. It's like all the goddamn time. It's like, bro, it's like chill the fuck out. It's like relax. It's okay. Just be yourself. It seems like I'm being myself, but I'm also not. I don't know. It's weird. But for the most part, I'm being myself. For the most part. What am I thinking about right now? I don't know. I'm gonna do some more reading. I already talked about what I'm gonna do, so bye.